Later that evening, Woo-bin was on his way to dinner with Yuna, having promised to spend more time with her. As he drove silently, Yuna watched him closely. Although he didn't say anything, she could sense that something was bothering him. Concerned, she asked if he was okay. Woo-bin simply nodded, signaling that he was fine. Upon arriving at the restaurant, they made their way to their table and settled in to order. Yuna, visibly excited, reached for Woo-bin's hand and smiled warmly, expressing her happiness that things were finally good between them. Woo-bin smiled back, admitting that he was happy too. However, he couldn't help but express his lingering concerns about Kim. He explained that perhaps everyone had been right all along. Maybe he just needed to stay away from the situation entirely. Wanting to shift the mood, he gently pulled Yuna closer and told her that all he wanted now was to make up for the time they had missed together. Yuna, still keeping her eyes fixed on him, responded by pointing out that their relationship had grown deeper. She then asked him when he was planning to take the next step. Woo-bin looked at her, understanding the implication of her words. To be sure, he asked what she meant. Waving her hand dismissively, Yuna made it clear it was time they started talking about marriage. She said she didn't see any point in waiting any longer. They were clearly in love, and they had already been physically intimate. Woo-bin sat in stunned silence, momentarily speechless. He reached for his drink, taking a sip to calm his nerves, but Yuna, still persistent, pushed for an answer, wanting to know his thoughts on the matter. Carefully choosing his words, Woo-bin asked if she truly felt ready for marriage. He reminded her that she had just turned 20 and that she deserved time to enjoy her youth before making such a major life commitment. Yuna insisted that she was ready as long as it was with him. She confessed that she was afraid he might leave her if they didn't make things official. Woo-bin gave a small laugh, taking her hand reassuringly, and told her that he wasn't going anywhere. He urged her to stop having such negative thoughts, but Yuna wouldn't be consoled. She said her parents, especially her father, were going to start pressuring them, knowing they had already slept together. That statement made Woo-bin nearly choke on his drink. He paused and looked at her intently before asking if she had actually told her father about it. Yuna hesitated for a moment and then nodded, explaining that her father had overheard the conversation. She hadn't told him directly. She argued that it was all the more reason they should get married, so her father wouldn't continue thinking such things about them. Woo-bin, now visibly frustrated, told her that such intimate matters were personal and shouldn't be shared with anyone, especially not with parents. He said it was now going to be difficult for him to face her family, knowing what they might be imagining. Yuna tried to explain again, but Woo-bin cut in, saying that the only reason she seemed to want marriage was out of fear and insecurity. He emphasized that marriage should never be based on those feelings. It should come from a place of mutual love, readiness, and willingness to take that next step together. Yuna, nearly in tears, asked if he would have responded the same way if it were Minsu who had asked him to marry her. Would he have turned her down too? Woo-bin paused and told her there was no need to bring up Minsu. He assured her that he was over that chapter of his life and reminded her that they had only just managed to fix things between them. He said he hated how they kept arguing and that they should just enjoy each other's company. But Yuna's tone grew colder. She told him that it was either they get married or they break up, as there was no point in continuing a relationship that wasn't going to lead anywhere. Woo-bin, now confused and disoriented by how quickly the situation had spiraled, tried to calm her down. But Yuna stood up, grabbed her purse, and told him she wouldn't allow herself to be someone he kept around until he met the woman he truly wanted. She said she deserved more and walked out of the restaurant, visibly angry. Woo-bin remained seated, trying to make sense of how things had unraveled so quickly. Just hours earlier, everything had seemed fine, and now they were back to square one. A man who had been sitting nearby and had overheard the entire conversation leaned toward Woo-bin and told him plainly that if he loved her, he should give her what she wanted because that's how you keep a woman. But if he didn't love her, he needed to let her go, because in the end, he was only torturing himself. Woo-bin glanced at the man, nodded in silent thanks for the unsolicited advice, and downed the remainder of his drink.